Ross here of TDR Academy of Movement and Therapy, and I'm going to bring you in with another stretching session. So I hope you enjoy this one. It's quite relaxed. We're not going to go into some really strong positions, depending on how tight you feel. Everything is subjective, but we're not aiming to go into really adventurous stretches. We're going to do a few for internal and external rotation for the thighs, and we're going to do a little bit of flexion, extension, opening, and then a stretch for one of the main muscles that gets tight, especially if you're stuck at a desk, for example. So hopefully this just makes you feel a little bit more open. We will start with a little bit of relaxation, so hopefully that sets you up for being a little bit more relaxed throughout. We will be active in our stretches, contracting and relaxing, but again, keeping them gentle. They're just a few seconds of a contraction. Always find your own level with these positions so that it feels good, nothing feels painful, nothing feels bad. It's a good, comfortable discomfort that you know that it's a stretch that's taking you forward, not backwards. So hopefully you enjoyed the session. Leave us a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we're going to get you started. So we're going to bring you into position. Set it up, roll it down, and bring yourself into a comfortable space. Lying down, letting as much of the body come into contact with the floor as you can. Use supports if you need them, whether that's using pillows to help soften the knees, maybe a pillow underneath the head, but allowing the body to relax. And once we settle in, allow your eyes to close. Take a deep breath in, and then slowly let the breath go. Another deep breath in, and slowly releasing. Checking in with those internal feelings of how each area of your body feels. Anything that you notice. We're going to take just a little moment to use your breath to see whether, just with intention and with breathing, we can get any awarenesses of tightnesses or any sensations in your body. If we can get them to ease just simply by focusing on them. Allowing your in-breath to move into any areas that you're more aware of. And as you breathe out, let it draw away from those areas to help it leave the body. Maybe one breath isn't the only thing you need to do. Maybe you need to direct a few breaths to an area. And with your concentration or your focus into those areas, imagining that the breath almost brings like nutrition and energy towards those points. And as you breathe out, it takes away toxins, it takes away any negative or bad energy or feeling. To notice over those series of breaths, does it feel like it brings ease? Maybe that awareness of, can those areas sink a little deeper into the mat to be more supported by your mat and the floor? And then as a little point of self-reflection, just again, as you reevaluate, how does the body feel after those breaths? Did you notice any areas have maybe got a little bit easier or less aware? do you feel a little bit more relaxed just in general? So that it takes away from you feeling that you have to hold your body all the time, you have to hold tensions to hold it in certain ways, but at times you can actually just let go. You don't have to do anything. The body is where it is, it's doing what it does. Can you just let it rest? And then slowly from there, we're just going to invite a little movement into your fingers and your toes, just to bring an awakening into the body. And as you start to move them, maybe just rolling the arms a little bit or circling the ankles, maybe just moving the shoulders, just starting to develop into a little bit of a whole body wiggle or movement. And then drawing one leg in at a time, placing the feet onto the floor. The eyes are closed, just slowly allowing them to open. Just become aware of your surroundings. And then slowly draw the knees in for a hug. You can clasp the hands and draw the knees in. Just give a little gentle rock side to side. And then slowly releasing the legs back down. So we're going to take it into a few hip stretches first of all. So we're going to mobilize them a little bit. So just initially draw it into butterfly, draw the soles of the feet in together and let the knees drape open. And as you're there, just notice whether the back arches, or can you draw a little bit more in through the tummy to try to help keep the back a little bit flatter. And then maybe just give a little rock of the knees side to side, so a little bit of a waggle again, just encouraging the body to try to relax a little more. And then let them go loose. Using the breath or the powers again of that focused awareness into those body areas to see, can you encourage the body to relax a little more, the ribs to relax, the knees to sink closer to the floor. Breathing gently. And then taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, draw the belly button in to help draw the legs closer in together. And we're going to take the feet into a cross-legged position next. So it's crossing the ankles and then letting the knees drape open again. If it feels like you need to kind of bring the heels closer towards your sit bones, sometimes it's easier just to creep your body down towards the heels, rather than trying to pull your heels in tight towards your sit bones, because the hamstrings can get a bit crampy sometimes. So with the legs crossed, both knees open wide, a bit like the butterfly again, but yeah, ankles crossed. So you're open wide with the knees and just letting, again, the weight of the pelvis sink heavy, let gravity sink the ribs down. Using that focused awareness again to notice whether it feels like you're holding on to any tension. Are you kind of gripping and almost subconsciously holding tension? To see, can you bring your conscious awareness to it? To let go. Letting the knees feel heavier, to let them drape to the floor. Even maybe the shoulders, pay a little attention to them. Do they need to drape a little bit more also? And then taking a breath. And as you breathe out, draw the belly button in, helping to draw the knees in together. And then we're going to switch the cross at the ankles. And again, as you let the knees drape out, if it feels like you need to readjust, then again, maybe just creeping the body down towards the heels. You can decide what level that needs to be. Comparing, contrasting. How does this feel compared to the other side? Knowing maybe it feels a little bit more relaxed, or maybe it feels like you are gripping. Maybe you're finding it difficult to let go of the thighs. Are the ribs popping up enough? Can you let them fall heavy? Again, keeping your conscious awareness into where you feel the stretch. So notice, can you let go of something a little bit more? Taking a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, again, drawing the belly button in to help draw those knees in together. And this time, we're going to place the feet wide onto the mat, let the knees fall in together. So depending on how far that needs to be, you might need to walk your feet even a little bit wider than the width of your mat. But trying to encourage, the knees might not be actually touching together, but maybe knees in line with the hips, but then letting them fall to the inside. Trying to let them to relax into this internal rotation. Feels like a little bit of a different movement. If you feel strain in the knees, don't let the feet go just as wide. But allow, again, the ribs to fall heavy. Allow the knees to fall heavy. Taking another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, again, drawing in through the tummy, letting the knees open, and then drawing those feet, maybe heel-toeing the feet in together. We're going to take a full body stretch, so you can lengthen the legs out, take the arms up and over. Allow the tailbone to tilt down and the back to arch. And then as you draw the arms down, draw both knees in again, just allow the back to round out. Almost peeling the tailbone up and off the floor to give it that little stretch. And as you release the pelvis down, again, just those little rocks side to side. So slowly from there, you can keep a hold of the backs of the legs or the knees, lift the upper body up. We're just going to rock it up into seated, okay? And let the hands go in behind, let the feet go again about the width of your mat, and then just take those little internal, external rotations, your windscreen wipers. Okay, and then evening up, coming back into center. So let the legs lengthen out. We're going to come into the hamstrings on the back of the leg. So lengthening the legs out. And with this, I want you to work hard with the postural muscles to keep you tall. So as we're drawing forwards, you should feel like the back muscles are working into this as you hinge it forwards. So taking it through, if you prefer to use a belt around the feet, you can do, so you can give that little bit of a pull. But we're just going to draw it forwards until you feel, whether it's a stretching through the pelvis, the hamstrings, the back, wherever you feel it. But hopefully if the back is long and straight, it's more of a leg stretch. And as you come forward, trying if you can to maybe draw the toes in, or if you can reach them, pulling them towards you. pulling the shoulder blades down your back, lengthening, opening up the chest. And we're going to do just a little series of contract and relax in through here. So maybe the knees feel like they're softening and there's a bit of a gap between the knees and the floor. So we're going to think about pressing the knees down. So you're really trying to squash them down into the floor. So it feels like it contracts the thighs. And then release. And again, contract and relax. So each time you contract, rising up tall and release. And contract, rise up tall and release. I'm going to take another 2. Squeeze and release, and squeeze and release. And then draw the legs in. Just allow the back to round out. You can hold on to the feet, the arms can be outside, feet can be apart. Just drawing in through the ribs to let the back round and stretch out. Okay, again, nice and tall. So we're going to alter that. We're going to bring the right toes towards the left knee, so out to the side. If you need to be up on blocks, if that feels nicer, then you can be. And again, if you want to use a strap around the foot, a belt or a scarf, whatever you have, and then again, try and sit up nice and tall. And then from there, you've got that option, still trying to stay long through the back. If you want to take a hold of the leg, if you want to reach towards the foot, wherever you can get to. Still almost working to pull the arms back to help the posture grow tall. And you're not actively trying to do too much at the moment with that bent leg, but really trying to encourage that hip to relax, to let you fold that little bit deeper to the inside of it. And again, just settling into the position. Using that conscious awareness again of your breath, directing it into areas that maybe feel like they need that attention. And to notice, what are you resisting? What feels like you're fighting against yourself? And then we're going to bring it into those little contract and relax again. So the straight leg is still going to be contracting through the thighs if it's trying to press the knee onto the floor. The bent leg is actively going to use your own knee to press down, so just wherever it feels like you can. So again, pressing both legs down to the floor and relax. And again, actively pressing down and relax and press and relax. You might even feel like you get taller the more you press the legs down to rise the spine longer and taller. And again, press and relax and press and relax. 2 more. And press and relax and press and relax. And the hope is that as we do these, you do feel like you start to deepen into the position a little bit more. So we're going to draw you up. The bent leg, we're going to take it into that hurdle stretch. So we're going to draw it out to the side. So again, depending on your flexibility, maybe the knee is in front. If you feel like you're really twisted through the body, you might want to put a couple of blocks or pillows underneath your sit bones. But if you're able to get the knee out level with the hip to get the right angle, but you're still able to keep the chest and shoulders facing forwards, that's where your kind of end aim would be. Sitting up nice and tall, and again, long, straight back. So taking the hands forward, trying to get that hinge to wherever you can to bring that stretch up through the back of the leg. And once you're there, again, that sense of lengthening, and we're going to settle into that position. So again, whatever depth that needs to be for you, drawing your attention into those areas, those target areas where you maybe feel that real focus of the stretch. Almost getting the sense that your spine is lengthening. The sense of the sit bone on the straight leg, it's almost like you're trying to pull it backwards whenever you're trying to relax into this position, to deepen the position. And again, when we come in to this contract and relax, it's mostly going to be the front leg that we're focusing on. But if you feel that it's useful and you can experiment with it, we're going to do again about 8 of them. You're going to be pressing that knee into the floor on the bent leg as well. Okay, now it could be the knee and the foot, so you're pressing all of the leg down. So whenever we're ready, so we're pressing either just the straight knee into the floor, or maybe you're pressing everything into the floor, which kind of rises the body up. And then again, when you relax the legs, can you deepen a little bit further forwards? Again, press the legs in and then relax and deepen. And press it in and relax. You're in control whether you deepen or whether you settle. And again, relax and contract and relax and contract and relax. We're going to do one more and contract and relax. Yeah. And then slowly walking it back up. So we're going to draw the leg in and around. We're going to bring the hands in behind. And again then just taking that windscreen wiper just to mobilise the hips. Okay, so then we're going to take it into that second side. Okay, so the other leg out straight and then bringing to the left toes to the right knee, sitting up nice and tall. Again, whether with blocks or without, whether with a strap or not. And again, trying to sit tall, so posture is working as you hinge forward at the hips. Trying to get to wherever you can. Maybe you're holding onto the leg, maybe you're holding onto the toes, but just know that it's not at the expense of rounding the back. Whatever position you're in, I still want you to be able to keep that lengthen through your back. And once you draw into that position again, just drawing your awareness to what you feel. Can you find that little bit more lengthen through the back? Can you settle into the position a little bit more? Noticing if you're resisting yourself. And as you settle in, we're going to bring it into those contract and relax movements again. So again, the straight leg is contracting to push down into the floor, and the other leg, the knee is pressing down, is an option for that second contraction to use more. So again, when you're ready then, we're going to contract, pressing down, contracting, almost lengthening the spine, and then as you relax, can you deepen the position? And again, contract and relax and contract and relax and contract and relax and contract and relax, contract and relax. We'll take one more and contract and relax. So it's noticing, have you been able to get that little bit further and then slowly draw it back up. Long spine. So we're going to take it into the next stretch. So again, that hurdle stretch, bringing the other leg out to the side. So whether the knee is a little bit in front, again, this side might be different, whether you need pillows, blocks underneath your sit bones to even up both sides of the waist. But can you get the knee level with the hip and square off, ribs, shoulders facing straight ahead? Yeah. So once you're tall, okay, again, your choice, whether you're holding onto the leg, the mat, the foot, a strap, whatever you need, but trying to lengthen the back. And it's imagine that sit bone is pulling backwards on that straight leg. So wherever you can get to, just to pause for a moment. Again, just to notice when you get into the position, are you kind of fighting yourself getting there, or can you find some way to let go and relax and settle in? What can you let go of in that position? And then bringing in with those contract and relax again. So again, that front leg is going to be pressing the knee down, the leg out to the side, the knee and the foot can press down into the floor. So when we're ready, and contract, pressing the legs down, might rise the posture up, and then relax. Can you deepen? And again, contract and relax, and can it deepen, and contract, and relax, and contract, and relax, and contract, and relax. Two more. Contract, and relax, and contract, and relax. And just noticing at the end of that, does it feel like you've been able to get a bit further in, a bit deeper, a little bit more settled? And then slowly drawing it back up. And as you do, coming into those windscreen wipers again, just those little rocks side to side. Okay, so we're going to bring it into another kind of rotation based one. So with this one, what we're going to try to do, it's not a figure of four, we're going to try to bring the foot up to the opposite hip. So you're going to take a hold of that foot and see, can you encourage the knee to drop down? I'm certainly not a good example of where the end position would be on this one. My knee's quite high, and it's also in this position, it's quite out to the side, okay? In a normal, very loose hip, your knees would be side by side, okay, as the foot is wedged up in there. So you're trying to see if you can get that foot and hold it right up into the hip, and then try to encourage the knee to drop. So it's trying to keep the foot as high up on the hip so that we get that full rotation on the thigh bone. And as you're holding it in through there, you're trying to again let that thigh relax, which is quite difficult. So you're trying to encourage to let go, to let the hip drop, let the knee drop. To almost see, can you lengthen the thigh bone so that it almost starts to come a little bit longer and closer to its alignment with the hip. It might never get there, but it's trying to encourage that rotation in the hip socket. A few breaths again, just trying to relax into this one. There can be a lot of resistance with this. Trying to encourage the rest of the body to relax, but if you can, still trying to keep a hold of the foot up in the hip. And just noticing with your conscious awareness and trying to let go, trying to let gravity be the force to help press the knee down. Just let it relax, trying to let it sink to wherever you feel you can get to. And again, we're going to use a contract and relax, okay? So with this position, the knee is going to be actively trying to press down towards the floor, but again, you can make this really gentle, it doesn't have to be strong. So when we're ready again, so pressing the knee down, and then relax. And again, actively just using your own knee to press itself towards the floor, and relax, and contract, and relax, and contract, and relax, contract, and relax, contract, and relax. I'm going to do two more. Contract, and relax, and contract, and relax. And again, noticing, does it feel like it's dropped any further? Hopefully it has. And then slowly release the foot and relax the leg onto the floor. So we're going to take it in again, just that release in between those windscreen wipers, whatever distance you want your feet. I can feel it's nice to go wider with this one. And then again, slowly just rocking from one side to the other. So the internal rotation after we do an external rotation can sometimes feel a little bit stiff. once you've evened it up, we're going to take it on to that second side. So lengthening that right leg out, taking a hold of that left foot and trying to encourage it right up into the hip, and then trying to let the knee relax down. And once you get into that position, trying to get a sense that the knee is dropping towards the floor. Maybe noticing whether the knee's really far out to the side or can you keep it close in. And just encouraging it to relax, trying to let the whole body relax into that position. And once you feel that you've found your way in and trying to, again, notice whether you're resisting yourself in this. What else can you let go of? And still then drawing it into those contract and relax. So the bent leg, the knee is going to press to the floor. So contract and then relax and contract and relax and contract and relax and contract and relax, contract and relax, contract and relax, contract and relax, contract and relax. So again, noticing at the end of that, does it feel like you've been able to deepen, to settle into that position a little bit more? And then slowly releasing. Okay, and drawing into maybe a wide windscreen wiper, that little rock side to side. And then evening up into center. So you can draw in for a hug, and we're going to roll it up into seated. And then we're going to bring you on to hands and knees. So at this point, we're going to take it into just a little bit with the shoulder. So we're going to bring it into the outer shoulder. So set it up. We're going to be sinking it into child's pose, but I want you to reach your right arm through. And as you reach the right arm through, I want you to keep the chest and the shoulders as square to the mat as you can. It might even be that you're trying to rotate the shoulders back towards the right, almost like you're trying to pull the shoulders to the right. So you're holding that in position so that hopefully we're getting a stretch across the outer shoulder on the right. You might be getting a little bit more in other areas as well. Reaching the arm that's on the floor in your child's pose, it's reaching forwards. Your ribs are turning to the right. And allowing the head, if you can, to relax on the floor. It might not be able to. Just allowing the body to take a few breaths through this. And we're just going to take 4 contract and relax with the arm. So the contraction is going to be pressing the arm into the floor, but as you contract pressing the arm down, I want you to contract and turn your ribs to the right. So as you're ready, contract and relax. Can you deepen? Contract and relax. Can you deepen? Contract and relax. And contract and relax. Noticing whether you've been able to sink a little bit deeper into that position. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly drawing back up. And I want you to bring it up into seated. and just give a little shoulder roll. And then take it on to your other side. Okay. So, taking it on to second side. So, right arm sliding out, the left arm sliding across. And as it slides across, we're reaching forwards with that right arm. And as it reaches through, then imagine you're turning your ribs towards the left. So that again, you're trying to square the body off as much as you can to the floor. Maybe the head gets to the mat, maybe it doesn't. And once it's there, again, noticing where you feel it, trying to settle in. And then we're going to bring in that contract and relax. So again, it's going to be the arm that's across the body is pressing into the floor and the ribs are turning to your left. So when we're ready, and contract and relax and contract and relax and contract and relax and contract and relax. Again, noticing at the end of those, does it feel like you've been able to sink or lay down just that little bit further? And then slowly, again, walking it back out and bringing yourself up into tall sitting. And just rolling out through the shoulders again. Okay. So we're going to start to bring it into your puppy stretch. So in terms of this as a position, if you feel that you would rather use supports, you can do, but the floor-based one, hips over the knees, sending the hips backward as you try to look forward to the hands and let the shoulders sink. If you feel like you need a higher surface, if you know that you're already quite close to the floor with your armpits when you do this, you might need a little surface, again, just to set you in. Knees comfortably wide so you feel stable, and that sense that the hips are pulling back to almost traction a little, so you feel like you're opening up through those shoulders. So drawing it into your comfortable space that way, wherever it feels like you're getting that stretch, that comfortable discomfort. Again, noticing where you're feeling it. Keeping a little notion that the shoulders are just ever so lightly in the sockets, not reaching up to your ears. So the weight is pressing down through the shoulder blades. And we're going to use again for contract and relax. And we're going to press the hands down into the floor or the blocks. So you might feel like you rise up just a tiny little bit, not much. And then relax and let the shoulders sink. And again, contract and relax. And contract and relax. One final one, contract and relax. Wherever you feel that you've been able to get to. And then slowly contracting, pressing down with the hands, drawing one arm under it and then the other. And just bring it into child's pose, but allow the arms to rest down by your sides. And maybe just resting the forehead on the floor, or if it feels more comfortable to you, just to have the head turned very slightly to one side, but let the shoulders relax and go loose. Just pausing, just taking a couple of breaths there, just to let everything relax and let go. Let the back round and release. Just letting the breath fill up in the body. And then slowly, starting to draw the hands out underneath you and pressing the spine up. So we're going to draw you again into another extension movement, okay? So use just that soft approach. So we're going to use the pillows underneath the back, or if you have the yoga blocks, you can use those. So either with the pillow underneath that midsection, or if you have a block and you want to use them, you're going across the way, across the back, so along the line of kind of lower shoulder blades area, so it's opposite the lower chest bone and the prominent ribs. So you're resting on the block. The second block, if you're using it, may be for a pillow, so that it's projecting the ribs upwards. And again, the same with the pillow. You're wanting to make sure, if you're using that underneath the back, that it's projecting the ribs and the chest open. The height of the pillow is up to you. If you feel you don't need it, you can let the head drape back if you're happy enough to let that open up through the front of the throat. As long as that feels like that's a comfortable position to be in. Otherwise, use a support for the head. Now once you're there, arms are optional, legs are optional, whether the legs are just resting as is, whether they want to come into butterfly, whether you want to have them long and straight. So you can choose whatever feels like it helps you almost curve around your blocks or the pillow. And the arms can be out to the sides, I surrender, or maybe they are up and over, just wherever it feels like you want to add the challenge. And then once you're in that position, again, that reflection, how does this feel? We're not going to bring in a contract and relax in this. I just want you to try to almost let the body wrap around the pillow or the block. Noticing if you're holding any particular tension in the body. And maybe as you take a few breaths in, do you notice that you're being restricted in any way? Can you breathe and work through that to melt and mold around your block? Taking one more deep breath. Letting the breath go. If the arms are up, start to bring them down. If the legs are straight or in butterfly, start to draw them back into center. And then slowly drawing yourself off to the side. And once you bring yourself onto your side, just let the body kind of curl up, place the arms wherever you need to, a little bit like you're drawing into the fetal position, just to let the spine round. And take a couple of breaths there. Imagine that you're sending the breath into that area where the block or the pillow was in. So you're going to use the breath to expand and open up the spaces between the ribs. And then slowly, just bringing yourself up into a seated position. And we're going to bring it in to that area that you've just been opening up. So we're going to let it round. So we're going to bring the feet apart. And we're going to take a hold of the feet. So with this, we're going to use that draw in of those ribs, just letting the head relax down. And as you're holding onto the feet, you're pulling backwards to create that space across the mid-back. The knees can press out against the elbows so that it tries to almost pull the shoulder blades wider apart. And just relaxing the head. Again, bringing that awareness into your body. How does that feel? And if you feel like you need to add to it all, you can push the feet into your hands as well. So it tries to pull the shoulder blades further forward on the ribs, just to open that space up between the spine and the ribs a little bit more. Breathing deeply into the back of the body. And taking one more deep breath. And then slowly releasing the hands and rolling the spine up. And we're going to bring the legs into diamond. So you can have the feet whatever distance away from you that feels comfortable in terms of resting the soles of the feet together and letting the knees drop out to the side. So the spine sitting up nice and tall, and we're going to fold it forward. So we're really aiming to try to get lengthened through the back. So it may be a hinge first of all, taking a hold of the feet to draw you forwards. And then once you're there, allowing the spine to round and allowing the head to drape down. And noticing again, once you come into position, does it feel like you're resisting yourself? If it doesn't feel good to have the head draped forward, if it feels like that might bring in a little bit of a nervy stretch, then again, you can keep the eyes maybe looking forward to the neck is in line with the spine more so. But check in with how the body feels. Where are you feeling it? Letting the knees relax out, letting the chest sink down. And still using the breath as the contraction. So as you breathe in, sending the breath across the back, opening up and expanding the space between the ribs, between the shoulder blades, and the out breath softening each time. Maybe you're able to creep a little bit further forwards in between each breath. Taking one more final deep breath there. And as you breathe out, then slowly starting to walk the hands back. And as you walk them back, realigning the spine, finding that little bit of extra length. But then we'll take that counter stretch. So fingers turned out to the side, you can have the legs bent in front, opening up through the chest, squeezing the upper arms together, kind of puffing out the chest, bringing in that little bit of an arch. And taking 3 deep breaths, send it into the chest, open up. And then slowly releasing from there. And we're going to bring it into a comfortable seat. So wherever that is for you, and we're just going to bring it into a neck stretch to finish. So we're going to bring it into neck stretch. So if you, again, whatever is comfortable, if you need a couple of blocks, cushions, whatever you want to sit on, if that raises you up a little bit so it feels more comfortable, then yeah, whatever position feels comfortable there. So we're going to use the stretch for the levator scapula muscle, which is kind of from the back of the scalp, working its way down and to the top of the shoulder, connected to the shoulder blade. So we're going to be working with the head. I'm going to stretch left side first. So if you turn your head maybe somewhere around 45 degrees to the right, and then you're going to poke the chin forwards. So that's going to be the first part of the stretch. The left arm has a choice as well, so it can deepen the stretch a little bit. So it's maybe on the mat beside you, and it might want to walk a little bit further out to the side. So it tries to help fix the shoulder in position. So hand is out there, head's turned 45 degrees or so, and you're poking the chin forward. So it's noticing, does that bring a stretch in already? If it does, then you can stay there for a few breaths. But if you don't feel anything there, then we're lowering the chin. But don't lose that poke of the chin, that chicken neck. We're trying to keep that length as you lower the chin. So that's, if you imagine your scalp at the back, you're trying to get it to lift and lengthen up and over on that diagonal away from the shoulder blade. And just holding and breathing. The active part is the arm holding itself out there. And the head is actively trying to keep that chin poke, that lengthening. And if you do feel that anything eases at any point, maybe you add a little bit more of the chin poke. Can you take the chin further forwards? Can you lower the chin a little bit further down? Holding, but trying to still find a sense of release within it. And we're going to take one more breath. And then slowly start releasing the arm first, draw it in, and then slowly releasing the head and drawing back into center. So we're going to take it over onto the other side. So again, you know where the head's going now, we're going to the opposite side. So maybe if you're sitting cross-legged, you want to switch the legs over. And you're going to take that right hand out to the side, walking the fingers away, turning the head about 45 degrees to your left. And then from there, the chin poke. So again, it's noticing already, does that feel like that's a stretch? And if it is, you can wait there before progressing. Or if you need to go further, then you're lowering the chin to the chest, still getting that sense that you're trying to lift the scalp, the joint of the skull with the muscles in the neck, lifting that up and over. And as you're holding through there, you're trying to keep that chin poke in place. So hopefully we're getting it down from the back of behind the ear, the back of the skull, towards the top of the shoulder. And as you're holding there again, always discerning, does it feel like it's easing? That maybe you add in a little bit more of that chin poke. Maybe it's a little bit more of a drop of the chin to the floor. And breathing. And taking one final deep breath. And as you release, then walking the hand in, and then slowly releasing the head. We're just going to take a few soft movements for the head, then dropping the chin to the chest, and then bringing the chin up to the ceiling, and back down, chin to chest, and back up. And as you bring the head into center, just taking a look over the shoulder to the right and to the left. And again, one more each way. And as we bring it into center, then lifting the left ear up. And then lifting the right ear up. And again, one more each way. And then drawing back into center. Take a big deep breath. Let it go. And one more. And let it go. So hopefully we've tackled a few different areas in there. So getting into a little bit more rotation through the thighs. So that rotation in through the thighs hopefully helps to loosen, and not just in the hips but maybe into the back as well. But hopefully that flexion, extension, working into the back feels good, and hopefully feel a bit better for that all.